Oh, yeah, really?
35.5, whatever pive is. Your New Year's resolution.
My resolution is, I don't know if people want to hear this shit because they hate hearing artists complain, but the truth is that when you're my age and you haven't done a great work of art, then every minute has to be devoted to doing that. And so the way I live is I rarely leave the studio. I work on my art all day, every day, because it will take me the rest of my life to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish. And so any time that I'm not painting, I feel guilty. So my resolution is to, number one, not miss a workout like everyone else in the United States, but also to not play and have fun, stay in the studio as much as possible.
Okay. All right, you wanted to talk about Iran.
Yeah, the first thing I want to say is that at the time of this filming, there's unrest in Iran, and Obama did nothing, and he waited a long time.
Well, let's do the
because
historic
he was
background.
confused. He was confused about what to do, and he was kind of on the side of the Ayatollah, I believe.
Well, I don't believe that, but let's say in
And-
2009 there was a thing called the Green Revolution, and people took to the streets in Iran protesting the government, and it looked like change could actually happen. And a lot of people were hoping that the U.S., maybe through the CIA or through whatever leverage they could get, would provide resources for the people who were in the streets trying to, get rid of this Ayatollah-based government. And the U.S., as far as we know, did not step in.
Well, not only did they not step in, but Obama didn't even give moral support. He didn't even say, I'm on the side of the protesters and it's high time that we have a change in Iran. And so he may not have had the wherewithal to invade, but even if he did, even if he couldn't do that, the least he could have said was, we're on your side. And he didn't.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled with that either, so we don't need to fight about that.
But, so, okay.
Though
fine.
I'm a lot more ignorant, so maybe there are reasons why he didn't, but based on my ignorant point of view, I kind of wish he...
Well, okay, fine. Now let me go on, contrast that with the way Trump reacted. Now, number one, we don't know how much Trump has caused this to happen, because our intelligence, all intelligence agencies are devoted to overthrowing their enemy countries. So it's possible that Trump is behind this.
But unlikely.
Well, it's an X factor. There's no way to know, but if he isn't, that's what he should be doing. That's what the American government is supposed to be doing, causing revolutions in enemy countries. But he did something very interesting. He made an announcement. He said he was in favor of what the people of Iran are doing in trying to get freedom for themselves. And he said one thing, which I took special note of. He said, we are watching to see if there are any human rights violations. And that's not an idle sentence. Don't interrupt me. What that means is he's saying, don't give me an excuse.
To get rid of the sanction, to restore the sanctions.
No, forget the sanctions. What he's saying is, if you start slaughtering your people, we can intervene and make sure you're overthrown. So what that does to the Iranians is it basically says, okay, we can start slaughtering our people, and the U.S. has a pretext to intervene and assassinate us and kill us. Or we can let our people keep revolting and maybe get overthrown.
Well,
don't interrupt me. Let it sink in for a minute.
All right, well,
so by telling the Ayatollah, the United States is watching you, for human rights violations. Don't start killing your people. You let them do what they're going to do. They're putting the Iranians on notice.
What about the deal where we passed a law that it's illegal for the U.S. to assassinate foreign leaders?
Well, I mean, we're not allowed technically to send an assassin over there, but if they start shooting their people, we can give our guys helicopters. We can land a force there and say, here, we can fly over and drop pistols and small arms and crates.
So during the Green Revolution, how many of its people did Iran kill?
There's no way to know, but just to give you an example, during peace, when there is nothing wrong, the Iranian regime has murdered 7,000 homosexuals by throwing them off buildings. I was actually, just to bring this home for people, I was actually flirting with an Iranian girl who was in Iran on the internet. And I don't know if I told you this story, but at a certain point I said, hey, is it okay for you to be talking to an American Jew? And she said, no. I said, so what's going to happen? She said, they're going to hang me. So that's what we're dealing with here.
Okay, so
you can get acid thrown in your face if you're not wearing a headscarf.
So I mean, during the Green Revolution,
and that's not with a revolution.
Yeah, during the Green Deal, they killed quite a few protesters.
We'll never know how many.
And so far, they haven't killed as many during this. The protests haven't been as big as they were in 2009,
But notice how the Iranians feel that this is probably a minor factor, but just the fact that the American president is a man of action, that's made it clear he's not going to put up with nonsense from the Iranians, has emboldened them. Because they know it's like, don't fight with your brother. No, I'm going to fight with my brother until Dad comes home. And what's happened is Dad's come home. My point is that they think they can play around now. They think that the U.S. might intervene. So that emboldens them. Because they know that if they start getting slaughtered, well, a few airstrikes.
That's not the entire deal, but I mean, because there are mitigating factors. The Iranians have been one of the more westernized countries of that region. In the 70s, girls could walk around wearing like mini skirts and junk. So they have sympathy for Western values. At the same time, there's been a long-standing pissed offness that in '53 we got rid of did we assassinate their prime minister? How did we get rid? We installed the Shah of Iran. We knocked out their prime minister. We put in the Shah of Iran.
No, Mossadegh was, I believe, a sympathizer with the communists.
Well, and we didn't like that.
We had a choice of giving Iran over to the Soviets or installing our own guy. And I think that was the right decision.
Except that the guy had a secret police, the Savak.
Yeah, but
was pretty killy.
It was pretty killy, but compared to the Ayatollahs, they were Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
And by the way, these Iranians are actually asking, some of them, half of them, are actually asking for the son of the Shah to be installed.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Well, who knows? I mean, the point is that we're predicting, and I'm saying in 2018, if we have an intelligent government, we will get rebellion in Iran. That's what I want. I want either a rebellion or an airstrike to knock out the nuclear facilities.
All right, let's move on, because what's up next? You want to play pass or play?
Sure.
Do we have more issues to plow through?
I don't have any more issues. I think it's...
Oh, wait, no, legalized pot. Do we have time to do that? Or you want to move to the next segment?
Yeah, no, we got time.
All right. As of January 1st,
Oh, wait a
recreational...
minute, we got 10 seconds, sorry.
All right, okay. Next one.
Let's just pause.
Okay. Yes?
Rolling.
35.6. All right. Pot just became legal today, recreationally across the state of California. And remember, California is more than 10% of the population of the U.S. It's got 40 million plus people. It's got more people than Canada. And do you have a problem with legalized pot?
I think pot destroys lives, and I don't know if making it illegal is the solution, but if there was a way to stop it, I would be in favor of that. But I think it's not as simple as just making it illegal. I think there has to be a societal pressure. But something I heard today was very interesting. A lot of people are saying that because Nevada has legal gambling, they don't have to pay state income tax. And liberals are saying, hey, now that we've got pot legal, maybe California can stop having the state income tax. Now, that I don't give a shit about either this way or here nor there. What I think is funny is that these dirty liberals that have been putting up with state income tax my whole life are now finally realizing, oh, this new tax plan is going to put the pressure on us and we won't be able to deduct it. Gee, maybe we should be like Republican states and not have state income tax.
Well, it depends on the
You're
state.
just a bunch of hypocrites, Rick.
Not Sam Brownback's, what is it, Kansas, that's in ruins?
Kansas is doing very well.
No,
It's
they
a
had to
myth.
shorten the
It's
freaking
a
school
myth.
year.
It's
No,
a
it's
myth.
not a myth.
It's come out of it. It's doing really well. All those policies eventually
still,
paid off.
No, it still lags the average state in a lot of important.
It's doing
It had
fine,
to
but
shorten
I
the
want-
school
wait,
year to
wait, wait,
170 days.
Wait, don't change the subject. Don't you
No,
feel?
that is the
Don't you
subject.
feel like a little hypocrite because now that Trump's tax bill has taken that write-off away, the liberals are squealing, "Gee, California has this terrible state income tax. We need to stop doing that."
Well, you're framing
It took a little pressure from the Republicans.
No, that's not the way you see it. It's like if there's another source of revenue, then yeah, maybe knock down the tax a little bit. But it's not.
I thought Democrats loved taxes. Don't you need to give more money to welfare mothers?
Well, look at, we have tax problems. Like Prop 13 passed in like 1977, 40 years ago, which puts a stupid lid on property taxes, which has forced us to increase taxes in other ways.
Anybody that had property back in the 70s was getting hosed. It was terrible.
Yeah, but now it's kind of the that's fine. But now it's 40 years later, and people pay relatively, sometimes ridiculously low property tax rates, and well below other states. I don't know if it's below the national average, but Warren Buffett likes to say he pays less in property taxes for his LA mansion than he pays for his little 3-bedroom, starter home back in Wichita.
Fine. And if he lives in the state of California, he pays 13% state income tax that he wouldn't have to pay in Nevada or Texas or Florida.
Yeah, but you're framing it like that. Now that the liberals are running squealing because the tax deduction is gone.
now it's beginning to bother me.
And now it's there's another source of income, and it's like, well, maybe that will impact the state tax picture.
But you wouldn't have thought about it if this hadn't happened.
Yeah, we would have. We look at anybody reasonable can look at Colorado and see that Colorado has made a bunch of money off of legalized pot, and somebody looked at Nevada, I guess, and said, well, they make money off of a different vice. So maybe us having this new revenue-raising vice means that, other taxes can be reduced. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're clamoring for taxes to go away.
Either way, it's the typical Democrat. You've got this disgusting habit of smoking dope, and now you want to somehow get out of paying the taxes that you've imposed on the rest of us. Thank you. Thank you, socialists.
So only liberals smoke pot.
Mostly, I would be willing to stake my life on the fact
well, no, I'm not going to
that-
argue that probably more liberals are stoners than conservatives.
Thank you.
But I don't know the way you framed it. I don't agree with that. But I also have
Just lays
I'm
bare
a little
your hypocrisy. That's all.
not really. I am a little nervous about that. Today's pot is supposed to be like 40 times stronger than the pot we grew up with. And that a whole state of 40 million people, not everybody's going to be a stoner, but that people, apparently, what was, really stoned people are going to be driving vehicles. That makes me nervous.
Well, that's another Democrat policy for you. It just goes to show you the Republicans are always right, Rick.
No, let's move on to something else.
All right?
So I just wanted to, if this is a science fiction concept, or is this something like this actually exists? There's a lot of talk been talk for quite a while now on the what they call the quote deep state unquote. Lance, you want to take a stab at that first?
Well, it's what's hampering Trump right now. He can't do everything he wants because he's got these Obama holdovers in all the departments. They're leaking. They're being openly insubordinate. They're, as I say, leaking things to the media. They are, they're actually not carrying out orders.
All right, the Republicans are better at branding than the Democrats. And deep state is this newly, widely used phrase that refers to that promotes the idea that's consistent with Republican values that too much government is a bad thing. I mean, it's all kind of that same deal, and that too much government is sinister. And Republicans, not all Republicans, but a lot of the more righty Republicans are dedicated to unraveling, the government-based social improvements of the 20th century.
Oh, for God's sake.
Well, come on.
They're trying to get their policies enacted, and the Democrats are actually resisting the president. They're refusing to carry out orders, and the president was speaking to the Prime Minister of Australia, and they leaked the entire conversation to the newspapers. They're actively working against him with Israel. The State Department just announced that they don't know if Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. This is crazy. They're working against him wherever they can. So, if you don't call that a deep state, what is it?
It's people who think that Trump is kind of a jackass.
Yeah, well, then they should resign and stop being deep state.
All right. And some people did, but some people don't like having our most jackassiest president being president.
He's already our most successful first year.
According
defeated
to
ISIS, peace, prosperity. What the hell else do you want from the guy? He did in 7 months what that dirtbag Obama couldn't do in 5 years.
Then we're going to have that same math argument that
crushed ISIS. You don't care about winning a war. That doesn't impress you. You're more concerned about...
All right, let's not have this stupid argument again, because it's the same thing, where you think that the way that the war against ISIS went, oh, nothing happened, Trump takes over, boom, ISIS goes away. Where if you look at the shit, it's ISIS gets cut down throughout the last 2.5 roughly years of Obama's administration. Then under Trump, keeps going down, maybe at a slightly higher rate because he changed the rules of engagement. But all right, next thing.
That's not what happened.
Well, that's actually what happened.
What happened?
No, let's not have this argument. We already had it.
How come you get to say what you want, but I can't?
I just said what you believe, which is nothing happened. I did. Nothing happened against ISIS while Obama was president. Then under Trump, everything happened. Let's move on.
The reason it happened was because Trump, number one, he armed the Kurds. Number two, he allowed the commanders in the field to make their own decisions. Number three, instead of a war of attrition, where you surround an area and you wait for the enemy to emerge, he surrounded the areas that ISIS occupied and then crushed those areas. This is a completely different type of warfare.
Not really. There are plenty of generals who say he didn't change he
Well, they're
didn't
lying.
change
He did change the
Obama's
rules.
strategies. He just
No, that-
loosened the rules
no,
of
no,
engagement.
that's not what
But
happened.
we're not going to have this argument. We're going to move on because we had this argument at least 2 other times.
Okay,
next thing.
Valerie Jarrett.
Valerie Jarrett.
Valerie Jarrett?
Okay, that's an oldie.
I don't know anything about
She
that.
was chief of staff. Or,
I know who she was, but why is she in the news now?
well, there was an issue I was reading on a report that she was born in Iran. I don't know if you knew
Yeah.
that. So that
What, to
there-
diplomats or something? Or expats or what?
something to that effect. But that basically that she was the one that was whispering Obama's ear to stay quiet during the Green Revolution. I mean, you can pass your play on that issue.
I'm going to pass because I don't know.
I'm going to play on that issue. What happened was his closest advisor, Obama's closest advisor, was an Iranian. But that's not
Who?
Valerie Jarrett.
Yeah, but you just
She's
said
an
you-
American citizen born in Iran, but there's more. The closest advisor to Clinton was Huma Abedin, and Huma Abedin was the editor of a Muslim Brotherhood newspaper magazine. So that the Muslim Brotherhood is dedicated to the imposition of Sharia on all women and the destruction of America and Israel. She was an editor to the Muslim Brotherhood magazine, and from there she went on to become an advisor to the main advisor to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, but Huma Abedin's married to a Jew, or was before he showed his wiener to too many people.
So let me get this straight. Somebody that was a spy for the Muslim Brotherhood would never think of marrying a Jewish congressman.
This is something that I would have to research.
No, but you're the second smartest man in the world. Think about it. If you were going to influence the United States and try to destroy it from within, and you had a pretty daughter, Huma Abedin's good looking,
Yeah, she's cute.
wouldn't you marry her to a congressman and then get her into a position of advisor to Hillary Clinton?
Let me say this. Yeah, if we're living in the Manchurian candidate, and we might very well be. So
Thank
anyway,
you.
I'll look it up. Well, anyway, what's the next thing? Though, come on. But next.
Okay, this is should I stay or should I go now?
Okay.
Hillary Clinton. Should she stay or should she go?
Do you mean what? Should she keep talking publicly about shit?
How do you feel as a liberal? You know, she's still in the media and talking. And do you think she?
Oh, you mean like
also-
Vanity Fair facetiously said she should just take up knitting and shut up?
Right. How do you feel? about
No, I like Hillary. I've always liked Hillary Clinton. Now, you think she's, if not the devil, then like, you know, 2 degrees of separation from the devil. But I've always thought she's a competent, experienced politician. So, but let's not have an argument about it. That's just the way I feel. You can't, you know, I'm a brainwashed liberal, and you're going to say, what are you going to, all right, you say what you're going to say.
Thanks for letting me say what I was going to say. What I was going to say is I hope to God she runs again, because she will corruptly buy the Democrat Party and be even weaker a candidate than she was a year ago. So please, Hillary Clinton, stay alive. Your life depends. I would give my life. I'd jump in front of a bullet to save her life, because it'd be the best thing for America if she ran again.
Well, she's not going to run again, but, you know, she could run for something else.
Okay.
All right, next thing.
Jeff Sessions. Should I stay or should I go?
Yeah, he is what he is. Trump hates that he recused himself from the Russia investigation. Do we care about Jeff Sessions? You want to move on to something else?
No, I care about it. Jeff Sessions has finally moved on trying to investigate Obama because Obama canceled the Cassandra project, where Americans were trying to capture the Iranian agents and Hezbollah agents that had been bringing drugs into our country. And Jeff Sessions finally acted and says, maybe we need to investigate that. But he was late on that. He is finally saying, gee, maybe we need to investigate the Clinton uranium deal. But he was late on that. So I would prefer somebody more aggressive. Now, as far as firing Mueller, I think Mueller will self-destruct because he's not going to find that Trump did anything with Russia. So, let him keep doing whatever the hell he wants. But I do wish that we had a more aggressive attorney general that wouldn't let the Democrats get away with their corruption.
Mm-hmm. All right, next thing.
Okay. Governor Jerry Brown.
I like an experienced politician. He's been governor now for, at least 20 years total? He doesn't give an F about a lot of political stuff. He just kind of says what he thinks. Regardless of what Lance says, the California economy is on a better footing after two Jerry Brown administrations than it was after two Gray Davis plus Schwarzenegger administration. I don't know. I like experienced politicians. Lance.
Well, we did have this discussion a while back where you kind of had the last word and decided that the California economy was improving. And that bothered me, so I read up on it and I found out that one of the things that's happening to our economy is that the middle class is hemorrhaging. They're desperately leaving California. And the reason is that what Brown has created is two classes: the ultra wealthy that don't care, and basically illegal aliens and extreme poor. So we're becoming more and more like Brazil, and there's virtually no question that the middle class in California is leaving for Nevada and Texas and Florida.
Okay,
Along with a lot of our industry.
I'll take your word for some of that, though I think it's crazy to blame it all on Brown when a lot of the income inequality is based on 20, 30 years of national politics.
Well, what Brown is doing is he's bringing in millions and millions of illegal aliens. Don't you interrupt me. And those illegal aliens are scarfing up all the jobs that used to go to the blue-collar Californians. So he's creating more poverty in our country so that you guys can have more Democrats. It's a terrible thing.
So in your reading...
And not only that, but he's fighting Trump and saying that California is a sanctuary state against federal law. So because he wants those illegal aliens. In fact, he even passed a Proposition 57, I believe, that says that even after you commit a rape or a murder, if you're an illegal alien and you're released onto the streets after serving your time, you can't be deported. So Governor Brown will do anything, including risk the lives of Californians, in order to keep as many. No, it's like an Order 57.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I think you're misstating.
In order to keep as many illegal aliens as he can in this state.
Well, no, you're misstating it. Hold on. No, hold on. You're misstating it. There's no way that thing says 57 says that. It says that the state government will not help the feds apprehend and deport somebody who's served their time. They get released and it's up to the feds. It's not that they're shielded from deportation. It's just that the state will not help the feds apprehend and kick them out.
Oh, well, that's a big difference.
It is a difference.
He's changed my mind on The View.
Well, no,
I'm sorry if my hands are cold. No, he's changed my mind. Big difference. That's right. They won't apprehend and help help the federal government.
Well, just say
that's
things
it. That's
the
it.
way-
No,
say
that-
things
that's
the
it,
way
that's
they
it. Absolutely, you're right. You're right. We're not helping those people that have just been released from prison after murdering a Californian citizen. We're just not reporting them to the ICE agents. Thank you. Thanks for clarifying that, Rick.
Okay, so in your reading, did
Also,
wait, no, hold
also,
on,
according-
no,
wait, wait,
no,
there's
I
more.
have a question for you before I forget it. According to your reading, how many illegal aliens are in the state?
You
must know that
I
number.
believe, okay, number one, we found out, this is fascinating, by the way, because it turns out, and you even made this argument, you told me that illegal aliens actually commit less crime than American citizens. Turns out that was not true. That was probably a Cato report, Cato Institute report.
Did they take it back, or what happened?
No, what happened is the Bureau of Sentencing, the Sentencing Bureau, the people that keep the statistics and all the sentencing,
Okay.
have found out that actually illegal aliens commit 25% more crime than the average American.
So where did the Cato Institute get its
They
statistics?
were wrong. They were just wrong.
Did they ever admit they were wrong? Or?
It doesn't matter. It was released this week. The actual authority, the people actually sentencing illegal aliens said no. They commit 25% more. So all those murders, all those rapes are your fault for voting for this Governor Brown fellow you like
I'll
so
have
much.
to read up on those things.
Well, what if it turns out I'm true? I'm telling you the truth.
Then I don't know. You'll have to
You're in
get to
favor-
take Carol
you're
to the
in
drive-in
favor-
movie or something. Even if she doesn't have an extra eye. I don't know.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
All right. Thank you.